Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Vijana Vallabha Varadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada और प्रेमानंदे जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकार्य स्तोत्र सत श्रीमद् दिवान प्रेज अभय चरणारविंदे श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकार्य स्तोत्र सत श्रीमद् दिवान श्रील भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की Sai Gaur Premanande. All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories are Sri Guru and Gauranga Kalvishra Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Rajaya Mudiraye Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 59, Text 12. Tamro Anishkaraha Sarvano Vibhishur Vasur Nabhasvan Asuranas Cha Saptama Patham Puraskaita Chamo Etam Mrde Bhauma Putrakaya Nirgana Dhritvadhuha Dharmo Anishkara Shravano Vibhushna Vasur Nabhasvan Arunas Sapta Pitambaruska Chamupatam Mride Bhauma Pramukta Nirgandharna Yutaha Tamo Anishkara Saravano Vibhushina Vasur Nabhasvan Asuran Sapataram Saptama Pitam Praruska Chamupatim Mride Bhauma Prukta Nirgandharamuskataya Dharmo Anishkara Saravano Vibhushya Vasur Nibhasan Arunascha Saptama Pitam Parushkita Champu Pitam Patim Mride Bhauma Parukta Nirgam Dhamukshita. Please change. Tamro Anishkrita Shravano Vibhashato Vasur Nabhasvan Arunasya Saptama Pitambaramashkata Chamumu Patimride Bhauma Paramyukta Nirgandharanyutada Tamro Anishkrita Shravano Vibhashur वसुन्नभस्वानरुणस्य सत्तमा पीताम्बरयुक्ता चमुं पतिं हृदे ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मयुक्ता निरगन्धन्यदा तम्रो निष्कृता श्रवणो विभाषुषु वसुर्नभस्वानर्णश्च सप्तमा पीताम्बरुष्कृता चम्बुमतिं हृदे भौमा प्रम्युक्ता निर्गन्धर्मयुतः तम्रो निष्कृता श्रवणो विभागुः वसुन्नभस्वानर्णश्च सत्तमा पीताम्बरुष्कृता चम्बुमतिं हृदे Bhauma Prayukta Nirgamudramayutama. Thank you very much. We will recite word to word meaning. Tama Anishkrita Vibhanasya. So this is one big line. Tamra, Anishkrita, Sarvana and Vibhasu. And Vasu Nabhaiswan. Vasu and Nabhaswan. Arunaha, Aruna, Cha and Saptama, the seventh. Pitam, Pita. Pura Kritya, putting at the head. Chamu Patim, their commander-in-chief. Mridhe, on the battlefield. Bhauma, by Bhaumasura. Prayukta, engaged. Nigam, they came out of the foresters. Trita, carrying. Ayudaha, weapons. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Ordered by Bharmasura, Mura's seven sons, Tamara, Anishkrita, Sarvana, Vibhushu, Vasu, Nibhaswan, and Aruna followed their general Pita into the battlefield bearing their weapons. So there is no purport for this. So we will go for text 13. These fiercest warriors furiously attacked inconceivable Lord Krishna with arrows, swords, clubs, spears, lances, and tendons. But the Supreme Lord, with unfailing powers, cut these mountains of weapons into tiny pieces with his arrows. Text 14. The lords severed their heads, thighs, arms, legs, armor of their opponents, led by Pitam, and sent them all to the abode of Yamaraj. Narakasura, the son of earth, could not contain his fury when he saw the fate of his military leaders. Thus he went out of Kendal with an elephant born from the milk ocean, who were executing a mother from their forehead out of excitement. So there is no purport for these three verses. We'll just deliberate on this text. Well, we'll just discuss on this and try to understand from the different acharyas' perspective what they are meant for this. Okay. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Gnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshorulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So Hare Krishna everyone. So today we are discussing about this verse, and let's see what's happened in the previous verse. So by this context we should understand that demons were attacking Krishna with the various weapons and with their full energy, and also they're full of the anger. The demons are always, attacking the Lord because they don't want to follow the dharma. That's why they are called the demons. A person who does not follow the dharma, which is led by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is called a demon. And one may ask, what is dharma? So Lord Krishna says, dharma so sakshat bhagavat pranitam in the Bhagavatam says. And also in the Bhagavad Gita, dharma samsthapanarthaya bhavami yugi yugi. So every millennium, Lord appears in this world to establish dharma. So that is the importance of dharma. So anywhere, when his adharma is prominent, Lord Krishna appears. So in this age of Kali, there is so much adharma we see around the world, but we don't see the Lord. But what is the answer? We don't know. What is the we don't see the form of the Lord, and we see all adharma in our place in this material world. People in this material world they follow only adharma because dharma is already given by the Supreme Lord in the form of scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That's why we should study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam every day. That's called dharma. So then we know what is dharma, and don't see the Lord in the form of we see dharma. We see Lord in the form of book, Bhagavatam Dharma, Bhagavad Gita Dharma, and chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is dharma. So when you chant the holy name of the Lord, that is Yuga Dharma, Harinama Sankirtan. So that is the main thing. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world, so he didn't kill everybody and he didn't punish anyone. What he did, of course, he wanted to punish Jagai Madai, but Lord Nityananda Prabhu stopped him. He reminded his dharma because in this age of Kali, everybody is following a dharma, and if you want to kill, there will be nobody to preach. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was stopped by these words. If you want to kill, there are so many Jagai Madais in this world. If you keep killing everybody, then will be no preaching for you. Then will the vision that which you have come in this world, that will be not fulfilled. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood the point of Lord Nityananda, and he said that okay, like he will be killing the inner demons, kama, krodha, moha, maha, matsarya. But we see here Lord Krishna did not tolerate any demons, and who were coming with the arrows, swords, clubs, and spears. But Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, unfailing powers, cut the weapons into tiny pieces. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the supreme holy name, which is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which will also cut into the small pieces, whatever the anarthas are there. So by we see understand this purport, however, uh, you know, demons were there. However, so much powerful they possessed, and they possess the arrows, they possess the weapons, but still, in front of Krishna, they don't stand because that he's a supreme Lord. One is, and we see that Narakas is the son of the earth, and who is the son of the earth, Narakasura, and Narakasura was actually is the son of the Lord Krishna also. Correct in one sense. In when uh, Lord took when Lord took the form of Varaha, he lifted the earth. So at that time, Bhumi Devi, got married with Varaha's son, and at that time Narakasura was born. So we see here, even the Supreme Lord's son, if we follow adharma, Krishna will not tolerate. So that is the lesson we are getting. So we see what other acharyas comment on this. One is we get here Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. They are describing the details of the pastimes. In the text 12, there is only mentioned that there are seven sons of Murais. They named the seven sons. What is Tamara, Antakrishna, Saravana, Vibhusu, Vasu, and Nabakasan and Aruna. So these seven sons were attacking the Lord. Saptama indicates that there is no other elder brother, only the seven. They were individually named to indicate their qualities. They wanted to take the revenge by their nature, and they were also ordered by the fight by Bhuma, who were eager to do this. In this, by doing this, he shows that he thought the Lord was insignificant. The demon's nature is always thinking that Lord is insignificant, we are powerful. In one sense, in this commentary, Srila Yoga Goswami is also indicating that in the materialistic world, people also sometimes think that they can overtake the material nature. That is also quality of the demon. The nature of how it is functioning, we should harmonize with that or align with the nature. Instead of that, if you're doing against the nature will, then you're called as a demon. When they think that okay, we can conquer this world, with the help of atomic bombs or with the help of bio war, the different things they are coming into their mind. Why? Because they lord it over the material nature is very very strong desire. That shows the demonic quality. The demons are always want to conquer and lord it over and rule the material nature. We see from the Satya Yuga, from Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakshara, they always has only one desire: lord it over the material nature and control over material nature. So that's the quality of the demon. And we see Sanatana Goswami also comments on this. This verse reinforced that last verses. Saptama indicates that there were no other brothers, only seven. Pita was in front because he was a general. They were engaged in by Bhuma, going with the Pita. They were held weapons, otherwise overcome with the grief, losing all powers, discrimination. They could leave the battle, ignoring everyone, or naturally anger, eager to take revenge, engaged by Bhuma, holding their weapons, the Pita in front. They left the city to fight and to hold the mission. So here we see that the brief description of the battlefield is given by Sanatana Goswami, like who is standing in front and who is there and with what nature they are attacking the Lord. We can see that, Acharyas give the brief description and also wide, as if they were there, because acharyas got that chakshusha, they got their vision. And this is not out of mental speculation. Okay, he must be standing front, he must be behind, and they were attacking like this. So acharyas, they don't speculate. They got their consciousness is so clear, they can able to see what's happening. So Just that's why we should read a commentary of our acharyas, then we can understand the elaborate picture on this. And text 13 also gives the description about the various weapons, what they are using, and how they are attacking. When they attack, they cut down into small pieces, and various people were also killed in that. That's explanation. And text 14, Srila Jiva Goswami comments on this. So they all went to the Yamaraja. Srila Jiva Goswami gives an meaning of Yamaraja. They all went to abode of Yama. They died. However, they were attained liberation. Okay. Achyuta here means that his weapons were unfalling in their purpose. The leaders were killed, and by having their heads cut off, etc., with the seas far away by the Lord's weapon. Bhauma saw this because he went on the top of fort. He was called Naraka because from birth he had wicked nature, taking human head in his mouth as soon as he was born. So he was the Narakasura. Why he called Narakasura? As soon as any human beings are born, he's eating their heads. So that's meaning Narakasura. And the story told by the story here was narrated by Jiva Goswami. Kalika Purna. He was a son of the earth, and thus he has a great power. And he merged the fort with the elephant born of the milk. So he has also elephant which is born out of from the milk ocean. So we can understand that the demons are they give the uh, they from by nature they hate the Lord. Same thing we see the Shishupala. By nature, as soon as he born, he was started criticizing Lord Krishna because of the nature. So one should not one should understand that if you're criticizing the Lord's activity, even the Lord's devotees, then you should be understand who you are. So one should be very very careful enough to understand this point. And also another thing is one should understand we should not be wicked by nature. So even though he is a son of the Lord, Narakasura, he was wicked by nature because of association. So one is if you have a strong association, then you will become a saintly person. If you have a bad association, then you will become a demon. So one should very very careful enough to choose the association of the Lord, then choose the association of the devotee, and also then you will get the same qualities. One time, Srila Prabhupada was asked, a journalist, Prabhupada, Swamiji, how you become a saintly person or a Swamiji or a devotee of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada told, in reverse, how you became a journalist. Then the journalist told, "Yeah, I liked this field, and I was associated with other journalists, and I was went, I joined this, and I was interested in this field, and I was more curious. I want to do this, and I am interested. I joined the media, and then I became a journalist by associating. Similarly." Srila Prabhupada also told, I was also associated with saintly person, which is, we all know, his divine grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and he was associated with the devotees, and therefore he became a devotee. So Srila Prabhupada told his answer. Another point, another a devotee, not a devotee, another person, like a visitor, he was asked, wow, Prabhupada, how you become such a great pure devotee? And Prabhupada told, how you become a drunkard? Then, how you became a drunkard? Then, then he told that the same way I was associating with I had my friend, he was going to the bar, he was addicted to the intoxication, and so on. Therefore, I become a drunkard. And Prabhupada also told, I was also addicted with the devotees. Going to the temple, going to the mutt, hearing the Krishna Katha, I became a devotee of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada's answer was always unique. Whenever you ask something, Srila Prabhupada will give a fantastic answer, which blows away the minds of the people. So here we should association with them very very important, and we should be careful with our association. That's why even though we have all the saintly people association, but the person who is taking the association and acquiring the quality is also important. We see in the Mahabharata, especially in the section of Bhagavad Gita, you know, when Lord Krishna is narrating the instruction Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna also heard, and also who else heard? Dhritarashtra also heard. Dhritarashtra, he also heard Bhagavad Gita. But after hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's heart was transformed. He became a devotee. Of course, he was always devotee. He became surrender unto the Lord, and he finally executed his devotee. Sorry, he executed his duty. Whereas Dhritarashtra was also hearing Bhagavad Gita for the purpose of what? For purpose he was wanting to know what is Krishna's instruction and how Duryodhana, his sons, were fighting, whether they got a battlefield or whether he won the battlefield or not, or whether Arjuna has gave up the battlefield, he gone, whether his sons were victorious. With this intention, he was hearing. So we see what is the intent behind the hearing, also very very important. So if you like if somebody like hearing like Dhritarashtra, then no matter how much hearing is done with the intent wrong, then there will be no transformation. If you are like Arjuna, hearing with a submissive mood, humble mood, then there will be a transformation of the heart. Just like we see what is the difference between the hearing devotee and the person who is like a Dhritarashtra. Difference. So Arjuna was also hearing, Dhritarashtra was also hearing. They both were hearing, but one's heart is transformed and surrendered to the Lord. Another is hearing, but he did not transfer with a bad intention. Just like we see in the there is a pot with all holes. We call it strainer. No matter how much water you take in the strainer, it has got all the holes. The hole from the holes the water will go away. But whereas the pot which has doesn't have any holes, if you take how much ever water or a sweet or a juice, it will remain. But whereas the strainer, it has got all holes. No matter how much water you take, no matter how much juice you take, from the holes it will gone. So we should make our heart as a container, not a strainer. So one should submissively, that is a quality of hearing. When we hear the submissively, that will remain in our heart. And will at least will act upon it. If you hear with the strainer, okay, with judging mentality, okay, let me see what this devotee is going to speak. Oh, I know this point. Oh, he didn't spoke this verse. Oh, he didn't quote this verse. Oh, he went over. No, he didn't. He missed this point. If you hearing like that with a judgment mentality, whatever the speaker is speaking, it will not go into your consciousness, and the result of that, there is no transformation or there is no progressive in the path of devotional service. Every day we should progress by doing these things, by coming to the morning program, Mangalarti, attending Guru Puja, and hearing Bhagavatam class, reading the scriptures, and discussing the points given by various acharyas. So this why association is important. So here we see the one point very strongly. Even though the son of the Lord, if he does mistake, he will be not spared. So we should understand this, and also we should understand the power of the Lord. You may possess, where you may claim yourself as a most powerful, but in front of the Lord you are insignificant. We see in the Srimad Bhagavatam when when Lord Lord came in the form of Nrsingadev. Hiranyakashipu attacked. Then in this purport, in that one verse, uh, Srila Prabhupada writes, like, you may be powerful, so much powerful that you may conquer the whole world, whole universe, but if when Lord comes in front of you, you will not stand with his nails, power of his nails. The power of a nail of his Lord is so strong that you cannot encounter it, or you cannot stand it. When Lord came as a Narasimhadev, he killed with the power of his nails. Just that's why you should understand. And Hiranyakashipu was not an ordinary person. He was so powerful that even demigods used to serve him. Demigods are also, we see that demigods are may not be powerful, but demigods, each demigod has his own strength. If one demigod withdraw powers from our body, we cannot even blink our eyes. That's the power they got. So that's why we should use all the senses in the service of the Lord. So I will summarize this. What have we spoken is, whenever the Lord descend in this material world, He comes only purpose of the establishing dharma and the saving the saintly person. That point we discussed. And also second point we discussed is, even though a son of the Lord, Narakasura, he will be not spared, he will be not forgiven if he is not following dharma. So that's why we should all follow dharma. And in that context we discussed the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in this world. He came in the form of holy name, and we should all chant holy name and follow the Bhagavad Dharma, read scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and execute our dharma. Whoever is not following dharma, he is called a demon. Demon doesn't mean that with a big thorns and also a big body with a blackish complex with a fearful teeth. That doesn't mean demon. Demonic qualities. Dambo, Darpo, Abhimano, Krodam, Parisham, Evachado, pride, arrogant, and envy. These are all the qualities of demon. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave everybody the holy name, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not kill anyone. He killed the demonic qualities within us. That is the second thing. Third thing we discussed, and here we see the association of the importance of the association. Sorry, and even though he was a Narakasura, is a son of the Lord, the association was bad. In that context, we discussed the hearing the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita and Dhritarashtra also heard Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna's heart was transformed, he became a devotee and he surrendered. Whereas the other person, Dhritarashtra's heart was not transferred because he has a heart which is full of holes. The strainer, we took the example strainer and a container. Whenever we are hearing Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class, or hearing somebody's lecture, we should be in a submissive and humble mode, receiving mode. Like we should be like a container, not like a strainer. When you put water in the strainer, all the water will go. We should be not like that. And finally, we discussed this uh, the point of where one should, follow the dharma and hearing submissively. Then we should execute to the purpose of the life, and that therefore we should also understand the purpose of human form of life and also purpose of executing dharma. So it's 8:15 here. We see any comments, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for giving this class and giving an order, all the things in this organized format. You first mentioned that Bhagavatam verse, Dharmantu Shakshat Bhagavad Pranitam, that the true religion, is the laws, laws of Bhagavad God. And it's again and again said, the people following the laws of God, true religion, are saved, and people who don't follow laws of God are demons. That's the definition of demon. And and Manu Samhita is also full of these all these things about laws of God. Now, in the age of Kali, it it would be chanting the holy names, but if you can elaborate more on the laws of God, what does that really mean? Because applies differently to different people. Some people read Bhagavad Gita, they karm kand, gyan kand, and so what is true laws of God?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, I agree with that. Different people will read different scriptures, and also some people chant the holy name, some people chant different holy name of the Lord. So one thing is, we should understand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the essence of all dharma, chanting the holy name, which is why we should chant the holy name, which is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the last end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that verse. The final word is, what is that verse? Nama Sankirtanam Yasya. Thank you. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Vinashna. So, one should understand, if you are chanting the holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Jai Sriman Narayana or any holy name which is laid on the scriptures with the perfection, with the understanding why we should chant, for what is what is the purpose of chanting behind, then you are on the right path. Second thing is that in this age of Kali, there are so many scriptures, there are so many dharmas, and there are so many people who follow the various dharmas. But in the Bhagavad Gita, if you see the index page, when there Shankaracharya, the Shankaracharya, he gave the clear description. There is only Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam. One scripture which is given by the Devaki Putra. Who is Devaki Putra? Lord Krishna. And one religious, what is Dharma? And one Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Ekam Mantram Eko Evatasya. One mantra and one Lord. That is we should follow. Why there are different people chanting different scriptures? Because during that time, that place, circumstances, for example, Ramanujacharya, he came, there were people in that set of mind. He preached that. So there we see that people now, they're chanting the holy name, but not Hare Krishna mantra, different mantra, which is given by their Acharya. We see those people, they are chanting. And because that is also bona fide, it's not, that is also authorized, because we have four sampradayas, Madhva Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, whatever the mantra coming from that Sampradaya, which is bona fide. And coming to the book scriptures, one is Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita. So we should read that in the association of the devotees. Why in the association of the devotees? And so that we can understand that. One is another thing. Another thing is that dharma, which is very elaborate. If you see Manu Samhita, you cannot understand what is dharma. In Manu Samhita, there is so much detailed explanation which is given, which we cannot follow all the things. Honestly speaking, honestly saying that there is a one um, particular section of the Manu Samhita. It says that if you want to touch Bhagavatam book, you have to take a bath, you have to follow all the ritualistic things, you have to do all the achaman, everything. Then only you are ordered to touch Bhagavatam. Are we doing that? It is not a possible thing. There are some places in India, they keep Bhagavatam in a very sacred place as altar. You don't go and touch anytime, like that. You are not allowed to touch Bhagavatam. There will be certain time, and you have to undergo certain type of austerity, certain type of cleanliness process. Then only you got touch Bhagavatam. Otherwise, you cannot touch. So that is an example in Manu Samhita which you mentioned. So there is a, if you follow Manu Samhita, there is vast description how human beings should live. But Srila Prabhupada so mercifully, he put it everything in the book Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. If you just read that and follow, then you are on the perfect path. So Srila Prabhupada knows what we need. He he has read all the what you call shastras and scriptures and commentaries by various acharyas. He has given to us what we need for this time, place, and circumstances. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, which is written by Ramanujacharya, then you will not, first of all, you will not understand. First of all, second thing, you will not able to follow that like that. So there is a, there is a, there is a, some boundary, there is a, some restrictions we cannot follow. But Srila Prabhupada has given Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So if you follow that and preach, when you preach, that is also dharma. The people will accept it. I hope this gives some point answer. I mean, Mataji has some point.
Um, you drew attention to the fact that uh, the association of devotees allows one to practice Dharma, and that if one is not in the association of devotee, one is very likely to be on the path of a Dharma or demoniac life. So, um, because as you pointed out, the Dharma in this age has to do with chanting of the holy name, the question comes, is it not that just by virtue of the fact that there is the chanting of the holy name going on by a group of people, that automatically is somehow protecting the rest of society? It's a question.
Yeah. So, yeah, there are people who are chanting, but at the same time, we should also be careful enough to following the rules of that. There's a one of the mention, it is what you called, uh, one morning we chant, there are 10 rules of chanting the holy name. We should not criticize the devotees who are propagating the holy name of the Lord. We should not criticize the scriptures. We should not criticize the what do you call others religion, and also we should not in the name of holy chanting in the name of holy chanting the holy name, we should not commit any sinful activities. So that is one point. Like I can say, okay, I'll chant in the morning, I will do sinful activities in the evening. That doesn't work like that. It's like you're burning the fire, putting on the fire, and at the same time you're pouring the ashes. So how potential you are chanting, what is the intent behind chanting is also important. You're chanting for the glorification and purification of glorification of the Lord and purification of yourself, or you're just chanting by show off. That is also important. Of course, there is a power, there is a potency when you chant, but that is has a little, that has a more impact when you follow the strict rules. Srila Prabhupada, that's why given the rules of the chanting. When last time, like when you go into New Vrindavan, in the Palace of Gold, when you go to the Srila Prabhupada's quarters, where you see, we saw recently, Srila Prabhupada on that day, he was writing the letter, he was giving initiation on that day for few devotees, and also giving the policy. Like in that policy, he is mentioning, now you are all getting the initiated by me, and also you should also follow the four regulative principles very strictly. He is mentioning no meditating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. That means Chanting the holy name is also important. At the same time, following these regulative principles also important. I don't know which context people are chanting. People are chanting. Of course, they get purified eventually, but not enough in a very rapid, fast mode. They are in a slow mode. If they follow the dharma, they will follow the they will have a definitely impact on chanting the holy name and around the world. If they don't follow the dharma, even though chanting, that doesn't have any impact. That's my understanding. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sai Gaur Premanande.